which a school chum had given him for luck when they had parted in June. But the little brown hand clung to the berries and made no effort to take it. "Oh, you must take it," he said. "I should lose it anyway. I always lose things. You can take care of it for me. Likely I'll be up again next year. Anyway, I'll come sometime, and when I do, I'll give you whatever you like in exchange for it." She did not resist when he took the berries and poured them into his cap. Then the coin was pushed into one of her brown hands, and he was pressing her fingers tightly upon it. When she dared to look up, he had called, "Goodbye," and was halfway down the hill, the others looking out of the stage, waving him to hurry. She watched him, saw him climb in with the driver, and fling his hand toward her as the stage rounded into the wood and disappeared. Still she did not move, but watched the place where it had vanished, as if she thought it might reappear, as if presently that sturdy boy might come hurrying up the hill. Then slowly, very slowly, as if she held some living object that might escape, she unclosed her hand and looked at the treasure within, turning it over, wondering at the curious markings. The old look came into her face again, but with it an expression which had not been there before. It was some hint of responsibility, of awakening. Vaguely she felt that suddenly, and by some marvelous happening, she had been linked with a new and wonderful world. All at once she turned and fled through the gate to the cottage. "Mother!" she cried at the door. "Oh, Mother, something has happened!" And flinging herself into the arms of the faded woman who sat there, she burst into a passion of tears. Chapter 1. But paladins ride far between. Frank rose and, plunging his hands into his pockets, lounged over to the wide window and gazed out on the wild March storm which was drenching and dismaying Fifth Avenue. A weaving throng of carriages, auto cars, and delivery wagons beat up and down against it, were driven by it from behind, or buffeted from many directions at the corners. Coachmen, footmen, and drivers huddled down into their waterproofs. Pedestrians tried to breast the rain with their umbrellas and frequently lost them. From where he stood, the young man could count 5 torn and twisted derelicts soaking in gutters. They seemed so very wet. Everything did. When a stage, that relic of another day, lumbered by, the driver on top, only half sheltered by his battered oilskins, seemed wetter and more dismal than any other object. It all had an art value, certainly, but there were pleasanter things within. The young man turned to the luxurious room, with its wide blazing fire, and the young girl who sat looking into the glowing depths. "Do you know, Constance," he said, "I think you are a bit hard on me." Then he drifted into a very large and soft chair near her, and stretching out his legs, stared comfortably into the fire, as if the fact were no such serious matter after all. The girl smiled quietly. She had a rich, oval face, with a deep look in her eyes,